Welcome into another Tuesday night evening blend. I am Pop Blender, and with me, as always, every Tuesday is Matthew Matson. Yes, you got your Rattler.
They finally landed after their long flight delays and diversions from all over the country.
And I got my wrench of monkey right here. Yes. Holy
Yeah,
moly, what's going
that monkey wrench looks awesome.
on? He is badass. Yes, he is. Welcome in another Tuesday night. Got some pretty cool topics. Got a good discussion at the end to go over with Disney needing boys. Wow. And interesting article to bring up. But nonetheless, here we are, another Tuesday night. How you doing? I know that lots going on for you. We don't have to divulge or get into that, but nonetheless, I always like to ask, how are you doing today?
Good, making it through. It's
Yes,
it's another
sir.
day. Lots of
Such
stuff going on.
so, such is life.
Yeah,
I've made no bones about it with anybody that's watched lately, is that insomnia has stricken me. However, I have to tell you, the last 2 or 3 days, I might have found the cure because I feel fan freaking tastic
yeah.
tonight, and I
A good
am
wank
ready.
before bed. I mean, there it is. I mean,
Hey, man, look, before bed, before breakfast, before the shower, in the shower, come on, whatever. Hey, does a body good. It's like milk, baby. Some would say.
got to keep
Anyway,
that prostate healthy.
yes, you do. Sometimes you need somebody to help you with that. What's
Yeah.
what's what's her name again? Anyway, so look, we're back again Tuesday night. If you've seen the thumbnail, yes, there's some unexpected things on the thumbnail. There's some expected things on the thumbnail, and a little fun with it, just for fun. For the main topic tonight, as we get to later, but nonetheless, yeah, there's a little bit of news. I got to watch Alien Earth episode 4, Quattro, and I'm going to get my thoughts on it quickly here to top things off before we get to the box office. But before we do that, I definitely want to say hello to the chat and see who all has at least come in here and make their presence known. And for those lurkers lurking, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to touch the keyboard on your phone or on your computer or your tablet, or at this point now, from what I understand, Matthew, the majority of people watch YouTube on their TV.
That's been a thing as of late. I rarely get that opportunity, but I do when I can. I pop it right up on the TV. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are doing that more and more because there's nothing else to
To
watch.
watch. Damn. It's like you're in my head. What would M do? That's what I said. What would WWMD? That's on you backstage. Anyway, all right. So yeah, a lot of people watch on their TV. Maybe have the phone handy so they can chat and then watch it pop up. Whatever. I'm sorry. I apologize for those of you that have to look at this face on a 55-inch or 60-inch or whatever size TV you have. But it's the one God gave me, and honestly, I kind of like it a little bit.
I had this great experience in a martial arts class one time. One of our senior instructors was training, and our top instructor, sensei, was walking around, and he walks up to him and he looks at him and he's doing something, what he's been asked to do. He says, "Your face is wrong," and walks off. And he's like, "What do I do with that?"
And the rest of his life was a disaster. He lived with that quote forever. Let's at least say hello to a few folks that are rolling in anyway. War Chest Full of Toys says, "I'm up in this chat." You're up in everything, War Chest. You don't. That's a guy that doesn't sit still. And if you guys only knew, like, he's got a hand in a whole lot of stuff and seems to do it well consistently. Dreadnought K6, what's up? Matthew likes past date tuna tacos. That's terrible. How dare you, Dreadnought? How
I,
dare
I,
you?
I I don't much like tuna tacos to begin with, but I had one of my students one time ate some tacos that were fish tacos that were a couple days old. It didn't go well.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
just
bad
saying.
idea. Hey, I ate some hot chicken yesterday,
Woo.
and even late at night, and today did not go well. At least this
Mm.
morning before I went to work anyway. And yes, Dreadnought, you were already there before we even got started. you were already there. Let's see here. Scroll down some of these.
Oh,
Stanley.
same times blowing some smoke.
Oh yeah, of course. Stanley's here. Stanley Everhart. Titans cut Ali Gay today, former student from the high school I work at. Okay, cool. Not cool that he got cut, but he gets a chance to go maybe catch on with another team. It is football season, folks, and I'm excited. Trust me on that. I can't wait. Something to talk about at work, especially. Turk, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. Matthew, you football at all? Much? Team?
Not since Washington changed their name and football started taking out or making everything that was good about the game illegal. So,
I am a huge football fan. I make no secret I'm a Steelers fan and an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, and I take it very seriously. I get very passionate in those games. Bobby Wold's in the house, says Matthew's catching up on comics last night. Saw in issue 318, your photo recreating issue 314 was in there.
The cover there, I did a couple different covers for that one.
Hell yeah.
I did a couple different covers for the issue that's coming out next in the Energon universe for G.I. Joe. But I will tell you that 2/3 of that letter is not from me.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's the letter we talked about it, and the first 2/3 of that letter is not mine. That came from somebody else, and I had nothing to do with that. And I'm like, why? I don't.
How does that
care
happen?
about that? I don't know how that happens.
I don't either.
It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
It's entertainment.
It's not in my writing style or my speaking style. But that last part was mine. Right before the picture, talking about photography and loving the covers and all that stuff. Not that other stuff about the characters that they wanted to see and stuff.
Well, the picture ultimately is the most important part,
right?
And would be nice if it drove some traffic, right? That's a widely circulated comment. Very popular. Johnny Reno is in the house. Cheers to you, Johnny. Always. Let's see. War Chest, I don't know as far as, messing your TV up. I know that one thing about having something on there all the time is that you had to worry about burn-in, right? Like plasma TVs. I think it's a little different now. But I guess maybe your TV is keeping your search history, and that's on you, buddy.
Oh, well, yeah, viruses get in all opportunities, so.
Yeah. Shane, same time toys. What's up, buddy? Hitting the replay squad. I know you kind of hop in, hop out. You do what you do. Anybody do what you do. Appreciate anybody joining us. Sabir, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. You guys crashed out on Alien Earth. I'm about to get my thoughts on that. I know you have not had an opportunity to see the most recent episode, but I'll give my thoughts on it for just a minute. Let's see here as I scroll down. I think we're good for now. And I know a few people pop in, pop out, whatever. No worries. Just glad you guys are here to hang out with us for a little while and go through some of these interesting topics, especially when we get to the Marvel Disney stuff. I know we're known for bashing on Disney, but guess what, folks? We're not the only ones. There's actors who have had bad experiences on set, and there's actors
plenty of them,
and actors who have lost the zeal for acting after being on those shows. So we'll get to that, but quickly, I did want to bring up Alien Earth. I did watch the most recent episode. Something that I thought would happen after watching the first 2 episodes is that this series would be up and down. You would have a good episode, and then a bad episode, and then an all right episode, then a bad, and then good, and then bad. As we say hello to Viper Scout. What's up, buddy? Alien Earth is an interesting show when it delves into the premises that I think most of us would find interesting, which is not slasher movie style premise. When you delve into this series and you get into the existentialism of like, what is it like to take your consciousness and move it into a body that is indestructible, or at the very least could possibly live forever, whatever. And then what does that mean for the soul? What does that mean to be human? Are you human anymore? How do you carry those characteristics? You have a different face. You have a different name. But you retain your memories. So those things are in this show. And this
Nope.
episode,
I disagree.
well. Okay. What I mean is those things are in the show as in they're presented in the most superficial way.
Yeah,
They are somewhat explored in this particular episode. And since you haven't seen it, I can't wait to get your thoughts on it. But my point is when it's most interesting is when it's not the alien jumping and cutting up a 19th century party, okay?
Right.
Or slaughtering soldiers. It's actually a little lenticular action going on. It's most interesting when it slows things down and has good dialogue. This recent episode has probably about 70% good dialogue. It's got some themes and some stuff in it that I think makes the show worth watching. It's the other shit that really just makes it like, why do I need to finish this? Right? This is schlock. It's goofy.
I can't wait because already from what I've seen a little bit of the episode. Is like, boy, we're going to disagree on this one.
Yes, so this is episode 4. Episode 4
yeah.
came on tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. I actually enjoyed this episode because it has some interesting shit going on and no action. Zero action whatsoever. And so when they take their time, they delve into some of these topics. Timothy, let's not kid ourselves. Timothy Oliphant is the MVP of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Him and the black dude that is the cyborg guy that was on the ship. Those are the 2 MVPs, hands down, of the show.
I would say potentially, yeah. There's one other person. I can't think of their name right now, but there's only one person really in the show that it has any level of competency. So,
Right. So yeah, it's going to be up and down because I guarantee you the next episode they're going to conduct some experiments. They're going to send some people out to do something, and it's going to get really schlocky and.
Well, I mean, they already forgot stuff that happened in the previous episode, so
And this episode, you may catch some things where you're like, huh? Wait, what? Did they even mention that? So it has that. It's like you said, like we talked backstage. You said this to me. You're taking 90 minutes and you're stretching it out over 8, 9 episodes, whatever it is.
Yeah, right? 8 hours.
You're just hoping to keep people along for the ride when you have a lot of scenes that really are unnecessary and don't.
Well, and whole swaths of dialogue that would take about 5 seconds to convey.
Yes,
they spend 5 minutes on the scene, and look, the episode's over.
Yeah,
you didn't get to finish the story because we got to save that for next week.
I will say one cool thing at the very end, and I don't think the songs. If anybody's watched the show, at the end they play songs. There's like
I'm not a real fan of bringing in the modern music into it.
They do play a Jane's Addiction song at the end of this episode, and it is a Jane's Addiction song that I actually enjoy. Graf is here. Frank Dumenu is also here.
What's up?
And so look, so that's my piece on Alien Earth. It's, I take it for what it is. Look, I've talked to people at work who really like it.
Yep.
Like they really like it. And if I was able to just, cash out and maybe some people smoke out and watch it, then cool. But man, it's like there are certain things that just come up you can't ignore. So
it really kind of feels like a surfing on the internet on your phone type of show to watch.
You're kind of right.
I mean that's the way they're making these things now. So they can't.
Yes.
They can't show you anything. They have to tell you everything, and so that you can be on your phone and still be caught up on what's going on without actually having to watch the emotion conveyed between people. And I appreciate this the guy who created the show and many of the projects that he's
Sure.
done. I think that this one just is falling short for me so
Well,
far.
Giraffe, you know what? You're right. The bar has been lowered. If we go back, and it's commonly referred to as like the golden age, and I say the golden age, not as in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, but like the Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones era, right? Um, where it was just superb, and there were a lot of superb shows. Even some of your sitcoms that were on ABC, there were some superb writing. There was some very good, evocative writing in some of those shows, especially when they got away from like the laugh tracks and shit like that in the background. And it's just gone downhill, and I really attribute that to streaming,
Yeah.
right? Being the main way we watch shows now. They just haven't figured out how to write shows for
No,
streaming,
well,
and they haven't
yeah,
got it right. So
it's bottom dollar people that they're hiring, stuff like that.
yes,
My wife, again, she hasn't seen Buffy before, so we're watching Buffy, and right now we're going back and forth between Buffy and Angel. And I recall you've got 13 episodes of Firefly. You've got the last season of Angel, season 5 is 24 episodes, I think. And both of those shows, there's not a wasteful moment in either of those shows, and that's a credit to Joss Whedon and the people that he has around him and help him write stuff.
right.
Canceled or not, you've got 24 episodes of a final season of a TV show that every one of them is a banger. Every one of them is connective tissue. Every one of them has a point, and not one has a wasted moment. And you get to this show, and 70% of it is wasted moments.
Yeah, there's some general rules in television, and we don't have to go too far in it, but like, if there's nothing to be gleaned from a car ride from A to B, then
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason to show it, right? If nothing happens, there's no reason to really show it.
Yeah.
So many times in television shows, whether it's like CSI Miami or any one of the procedurals, they show them pulling up on the curb and then
Yep.
getting out of the car and
Yeah.
walking up to the house. That's you don't need you don't need that, right?
Yeah.
But they do it because it helps fill out 15 seconds or 20
Well,
seconds of time.
well,
pads
it
the show.
also it also gives you a frame of reference, right? So they don't show the car ride.
Yes, that's
They show
true.
that they show them
Yes,
coming
you're
onto
correct.
scene, getting out of
Mhm.
the car, and that way you can start building tension from the moment they get out of the car
Right.
as to what they're going to do next or how they get out of the car. It sets the location and the stage for what's to happen next. So that actually does have a purpose. It's not really wasted, but yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That can be used in ways, and up to the director or
Yeah.
whoever the showrunner is to maybe what's necessary with that.
Right.
One way to get into a car, though, for me, was the way the Dukes of Hazzard used to do, which was slide over the hood or just jump in the welded door window.
as long as you don't do it like Luke did in the very first time that they slid across the hood of that car, as he got his leg pierced by the antenna, went all the way through his freaking leg, and after that very first time, they changed the antenna for the car, so it was a longer antenna that was more flexible that went all the way over there. So if that happened again, it wouldn't stab anybody to death.
Right. Oh my God, I forgot about that story too. Holy shit. Good memory, man. All right. So look, here's the deal. As Bobby Wolf says, I'm looking forward to Terminal List Dark Wolf. That's supposed to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I can't
Yeah.
wait to check it out, Bobby, and,
Yep.
and let you know my thoughts on that.
That'll be fun.
So look, I would be remiss before we get in the box office to say, if you guys haven't had an opportunity to watch, I did a Talking Figures with Legends series. It came on last Friday. It was a lot of fun. So if you hadn't seen that, man, check that out on Legends series channel. I had a blast talking to him, and it wasn't about pop culture.
So
I mean, it was about
if-
toys. It was about figures. It was about wrestling. It was about growing up and my cousin and stuff. It was great.
if all goes well, I'll be talking to him this Thursday. I don't know when the
Yeah.
episode will air,
That's
but
right.
but he invited me on to
Yeah.
talk to him on this week. So we're gonna try
it's,
and bang that out.
It's fun. You'll have a great time. He's wonderful at,
Oh, yeah.
at just conversation. And so, yeah, if you guys hadn't seen it, again, I just for self promotion, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's so good at what he does, and it makes it so easy. It
Yep.
really does. Just a conversation, hanging out, and it was a lot of fun. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's on his channel, and He's got some renewed vigor.
Love it.
Actually,
I love it. I love to see him back and hitting
me
it.
too. Me too. So look, let's do it. Let's get into the box office. Let's figure out what's going on. There is something that is topping the box office after the weekend, and we're gonna kind of bring it up. I've got a couple things to bring up about this particular movie that's not really a movie, so to speak, in the traditional sense. Netflix, K-pop Demon Hunters sing along event. $19 million gross in only 1,700 theaters. It says 10 weekends in release. That's not really, it's been out. They decided to put it out in theaters, and it has taken over. There are TikTok videos. There are people showing up, packed theaters, singing along. It's the shared experience. And no matter what you think about anime or what you think about this or whatever, I appreciate the shared experience, and that's something that's missing in our music. It's something that is missing in our movie theaters now. It's something that's missing in our lives. The together in person shared experience, and K-pop Demon Hunters has made this is like a phenomenon, dude. It's crazy. And I know you don't know a lot about it.
Oh, I've heard actually quite a bit about it. And I almost want to see it, but I'm also thinking
I get it.
It's not for me. I mean, I do like my anime, and I have liked the anime since the 80s that I watched, and to see it changed into what it is now, okay. But I think Disney's going to look at K-pop Demon Hunters and start forging their new plan that we'll talk about later.
Yeah. It's just this thing is taking over, and I know most of you guys probably have no idea. You haven't heard about it. Maybe you have seen a kind of story, and yeah, it is geared at younger people. But again, for me, the most important part of it is the shared experience, and I think that's something that's just really lacking in society today. And as much as it costs to go to the movie, people are backing out. We're more insular and reclusive, even though we share experiences online. That's totally different than being with a group of people in a packed theater of people you don't know. It's like going to see Rocky Horror Picture Show and singing along. You know what I mean? Like it's the movie inside out.
It's almost like watching a war movie and thinking you're a soldier. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I wasn't going to go there. I was going to go more of like it's like church or a sporting event. But hey, we all
you've got to have that experience that's in person, that's gritty, that's real, that's with the people around you, right?
Yes.
If you're not there sharing that experience with other people live and in person, it's not the same. It's why people go to music concerts. It's why people go to sporting events,
comedy clubs.
Yeah, it's like you can see it better and hear commentary if you're watching it at home on TV. But guess what? There's a totally different experience, a loyalty, a bonding situation that happens when you're there with people in person.
Yeah.
Even if you never see those people again, it was about that experience that you had together to celebrate something.
And one recommendation I have for anybody that goes to a music concert, whether it's your favorite artist, whether it's a tribute band, whether it's somebody you don't know, take the phone out one time, okay, record what you want to record, and then put the damn phone in your pocket and fucking dance and have a good time, and don't feel like you've got to record every damn song.
Absolutely.
We need to get away from that. All right. Weapons #2 has done so well. I have not seen it yet. I will be seeing it because I do have a few days off coming up here soon. So I will be seeing it soon. Freakier Friday. Hey, you know what? Lindsay Lohan, she's back. Let's see what happens. Fantastic Four First Steps still up there, #4. Bad Guys 2 animation. Nobody 2, which
I expected that one to do better because
that
movie's pretty good. The first one, anyway.
The first one. The second one, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I've heard some bad things about it. I will say I do know one person who really enjoyed it, but I've heard that it's pretty, just not as good as the first one.
That's disappointing.
Superman hanging tough, and we'll talk a little bit about Superman and Fantastic Four, and whether here actually just in a second. Um, Honey Don't, new to me. Um, hadn't got a chance to really. I think I saw a trailer from Focus. Naked Gun, number 9, and Jurassic World After Rebirth. Coming in, rounding out the top 10, which that movie has done gangbusters because we love dinosaurs. Um, Everyone loves dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs?
Right.
You know what you're getting with Jurassic World.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no mystery there.
Yeah.
And look, that's okay. I wish those movies offered up more for the brain.
Yeah. Wow.
I watched 2 really long deep dives. One of them was 4 hours long, and the other one was like 3. And I watched both of them all the way through. And that movie is just really bad. It's
Well,
very bad.
and I love people's criticism. You made a commentary that was longer than the movie. Yes,
Oh,
because
right.
we
Yeah.
dissected every single part of it to
Yeah.
tell you what was good and or bad about it.
I mean, it's and in a way, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, it's kind of fun. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun to have somebody break something down and then really dig into it, man. It's just
Well,
people's
it's
attention spans, it's
it's
hard
that
to
intellectual
do
pursuit. It's what I'm doing with my daughter right now. It's like you
that.
go
Okay.
watch something or you go experience something, you talk about it afterwards. You have to be able to articulate what did you like or what did you not like about said experience. And to be
Right.
able to articulate those things is extremely important to a critical mind, to a mind that's able to discern fact from fiction, and you know perceptions and have empathy, and there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of emotional context and intellectual context that comes with understanding and breaking something down and figuring out why. I always ask why.
Well, and I also think, and look, I hear from people. I talk to people all the time at work, and I hear from people who are just like, hey, I want to just be entertained.
Yep.
And I can't argue with that. I can't
Yeah.
hate on anybody that really just truly just wants to go and enjoy themselves, and they're not sitting there, critically
Yeah.
poring over a movie. I
And
get
I'm
it.
not
I
saying you have to
really
deep
do.
dive into that, but just
Right.
be able to articulate why you do or don't like something.
Yeah, and for me, I do think that is important only if for our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So look, let's go over this really quickly.
Yeah.
Summer box office won't reach 4 billion milestone after all.
Yep.
Heading into the summer, Hollywood is bullish that several promising blockbusters will be able to propel ticket sales above 4 billion for only the second time since the pandemic. However, it does not look like that's going to happen.
Well, they expected 3 billion of that to come with Jurassic Park, Fantastic Four, and Superman, but
Yes,
didn't happen.
and obviously Jurassic World made more, but really it's the failure of Superman and Fantastic Four that I
Yep.
think was kind of the big surprise. I don't think anybody would have thought F1 would make
So good.
more money.
So F1's
You
awesome.
know,
So
I
it
mean,
should.
I mean, and as good as it is, it's just you would think that hey, like this is which I liked Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
but you would think okay, they're gonna get back right. They're gonna get back Superman, big IP, gonna get there, and
Yeah.
yet both of them underperform. Neither one of them are gonna make money.
Right.
And then when you add in kind of what else came out, which Lilo and Stitch, and like I said, F1 Weapons, which has done very well. Mission Impossible did not do as well. Elio, Megan
Oof.
2.0.
Oof.
So when you look at it, like with higher ticket prices, fewer people going, and fewer movies coming out,
Yep.
this is a pretty bad year. It's a
Yep.
pretty bad year for movies, man. Like,
Yep. Absolutely. It's
you know,
it's almost a pandemic era bad.
do you,
Almost.
do you know what was out last year in August?
Not off the top of my head.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
There you go.
And it came out in July. and it
Yep.
stayed well through August, well into August. You
Yeah,
know,
they didn't put it on VOD for less than 4 weeks after it released.
right, right. So yeah, it's interesting because I'm curious because as we look to next year with the Mando and Grogu movie that's supposedly coming out, um,
We'll see.
Spider Man, maybe between those two.
Yeah.
Spider Man, I would assume will do well, but
Yep.
beyond that, man, I don't know. I mean, think about the movie theaters, okay? And most people don't think about this, right? But just work with me here. Movie theaters spend a lot of money renovating,
Mhm.
adding your IMAX, adding your 4D, your 3D, your
Yep.
RPX. So then those chairs we all like, those recliners, those chairs are like a couple few $1,000s each.
Yep.
And they also have to be maintained
Right.
because they will break down.
They break down all the time.
So that's something a lot of people don't even really take into consideration when it comes to movie theaters now is that hey, 10 years ago, we were a-okay with a bouncy seat and a back that kind of did like this
Yep.
and you went to the movie and you were fine with that, right? You didn't stop people from going to the movies. Tickets were cheaper. Now we have this plush experience. Sometimes they bring food to your seat. Dine
Ooh.
in. The tickets have gone up. Fewer people are going, and the maintenance on the seats and everything else inside
Yeah.
the theater is more money now.
Yep.
It's a recipe for disaster,
Yep.
and it's probably going to cause a lot of them to shut down.
Well, we've been speculating about that for a long time, and a lot of theaters have closed down.
Yeah.
A lot of theaters are just limping along, and boy, were they hoping for this Fantastic Four Superman thing to kill it for them. Jurassic Park, they needed those films to do well to make them through the rest of the year. Now, with all these other little films and stuff like that, I don't know how much attention that they're going to take in. I think a lot of people are going to bet their money on Tron Ares as the next one, and we'll see how that does. But I mean, it's a $400,000 to $500,000 movie if it does well, in my
Right.
opinion.
I mean, it's a niche,
It
you
is
know.
at this point. It is, and quite honestly, I do want to see what Trent Reznor does with the soundtrack and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So,
So to give you guys an idea, okay, um, this is the Gunverse, okay,
oh yeah,
and so now you can see the inflation. The higher the ticket price, the fewer tickets sold. Superman Legacy is a disaster, and if you look at the numbers, we look at Man of Steel global box office 670 million. Everybody says, "Oh, it didn't make that much. Didn't crush Superman, right?" Uh, Look at the average ticket price in
yeah,
2013.
yep,
$8.13. It is double
yep,
now. Tickets sold 82 million for Man of Steel, 36 million for Superman 2025.
yeah,
Those numbers don't lie.
yeah. I mean that's huge right there. And while that box office number for the new Superman movie may not be accurate to this point, when this was made, it was still relevant, and the data of the ticket prices and tickets sold is still very relevant to see the massive disparity in ticket sales.
I mean, you tell me, Matthew, like, when you could go to a matinee and pay 7, $8,
Yep.
$6, you're way more likely to go see more movies. And as Bobby
Yep.
says, the only thing stopping me from going to the movie theater is bad storytelling. So,
Well,
so
yeah.
now you have worse scripts being made, worse
Yep.
films being made, higher prices to go see those films.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's
The
that?
comic book industry.
Oh, wow.
When they keep raising their cover prices,
Mm-hmm.
and you're paying $6 for $4.99, $5.99, six ninety
Sure.
nine for a comic book issue. Some have dropped it back down to $2.99, whatever. But you're paying over $5 for an issue of a comic book with crappy writing and crappy artwork in it, and people just toss them away.
Right.
There are good ones out there. Don't get me wrong, but the vast majority of Marvel and DC stuff has been utter garbage. It's the same thing with the movies. Keep
Uh,
raising the price because you think that's going to make you more money, because those people that you have, you're going to milk them for everything that they have,
you know,
and then you're just
you're right.
running off the rest of the audience.
It's and it's probably not just comics. I mean, we could probably
No,
look
it's
across
not.
the board at a lot of things that this
Why
is kind of
why are
happened
we
to.
paying $27 an action figure, right? When we could
Yeah.
be paying 12, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's I think it is relative across the board in many ways.
Yep.
I did want to say, hey, the 3-star draw here.
What's up?
No, you have not missed it. I did want to bring it up momentarily. We're going to bring that up here in a little bit before we get into the main topic later. But yeah, the cat's out of the bag, folks. Tay Tay, and KK, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know. Joe Fan 84, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Glad to see you. But yeah, this graphic or this picture just tells the tale is that, you know, nowadays when people think about going to the movie, it's not just whether or not there's a good movie, which is Bobby said, but also the fact that, Jesus, man, like just alone yourself, you're talking about $50
Yep.
for popcorn, a Coke, and a ticket, even in a matinee for what it costs, right? Like, so, and it could be that. Let alone if you wanted to buy a popcorn bucket, one of the special ones, right? But yeah, things are upside down, and there has to be a change. There's got to be a change somewhere in there, and that kind of brings me to this article, which I know you've seen. I know sometimes we follow the same people, so there's a lot of things we don't necessarily have to communicate with each other because we already know. But comicbookmovie.com, and they're not the only ones, but as interest in the Fantastic Four surges at this point.
Interesting. Surges? Really?
It's now set to finish global box office run higher than expected. And I find this headline
higher than
really
expected.
Yeah, this was August 24th, okay? This article. And so when the trades were making excuses in the early parts, right? Like both Superman and Fantastic Four did not debut to huge numbers. Okay, they didn't do $150 million or $200 million over the weekend, so they started making excuses, right? Then it seems that they cooled off on that, and then now we get something like this that says renewed interest in Fantastic. Well, why is there renewed interest? It really isn't. This is just hey, what can we do to try to puff this up? But the bottom line, and as soon as that'll go away, because we all hate fans, whatever. It says that the Marvel Studios movie has since regained its footing. I don't know how. I haven't seen that. It's just completely made up.
You know why? You know why? Because they didn't have as big a loss this week because Superman was put on VOD, so more people went to the movie theater to watch that. No, I have no idea.
But listen to this. This is the sentence I took away from this. I thought was funny. Now, it's worth noting that the Fantastic Four First Steps won't quite reach the same heights as the two Disney blockbusters initially deemed flops, such as Elemental and Lion King, but it's no longer in danger of ending up with under $500 million. And it cost them like $350 million to make and market this movie. Yeah. If it makes $507 million, you know what that is? That's a loss.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of PR gobbledygook
Look,
is this?
The general public doesn't know the financials of this stuff. James Gunn doesn't even know the financials of it. Oh, if he does, he's just lying about it.
And that's on Superman. This is Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But I mean, when you break this stuff down, the numbers and what it takes to become profitable becomes apparent when you think about it just for a little bit and you put the pieces together. And I mean, they've been losing money for almost 10 years now.
I can't wait. At the end of this stream, we're going to bring up the article about Disney, and I'm going to bring up all the movies and shows from Marvel and Lucasfilm from 2020 until now, and it correlates to the article, right, and the title of the stream. And you guys will see that. I promise you. It says here, with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars set to prominently feature the heroes, as in the Fantastic Four, which is yet to be known. We don't know that. It seems likely we'll eventually get a sequel to the Fantastic Four in the next saga of MCU storytelling. Why in the world would you make a sequel to a movie that was a huge net loss for you?
Optics.
What's the point?
Optics.
I guess, but if
Look
nobody
how
went to see the
successful-
first one, why are they going to see the second one?
Look how successful we are. We're making a sequel to it. We're going to greenlight the sequel, even though we lost money on this. So it's a tax write-off. I mean,
Yeah.
not a complete write-off, right? But they're going to film more of it in the UK, and then they're going to have to expose their budgets to the UK so that they can get the tax rebates that they offer, so they
Right.
can try to make some money there. And then Disney Studios is going to sell the property to Disney Plus, so they're just shifting money around to say, look, we made money on it here because these streaming services purchased it from us, even though it's their own in-house streaming service. And then they may license it out or whatever. But they're gonna play this shell game to try and convince their investors to stay invested and to give them more money, which is the
Yes.
only way that they've survived to this point, is by fleecing their investors into thinking that they're doing the right thing and they're profitable and everything's all good, sunshines and rainbows. It's why they won't allow stockholders to come on and make unfiltered questions to the board.
Well, and as we've seen, and I even believe Netflix has gone along this route. Most all the streaming services are no longer going to report their numbers.
Of course, they never wanted to report them to begin with, and
Right.
they never had to report them, right? And so they're choosing what and how to release the information about streaming and how they want, because nobody can fact check it. Nobody can say, well, they're lying about it, because they're their own numbers and they're going to tell you what they want to tell you. And it's
How
the
many-
most streams. It's the most streamed show at 12 o'clock on Wednesday. So it's the most streamed show.
Exactly. It's the you know, you pull your phone up, you flip it through the news, and you see number one Disney Plus show, you know, is Skeleton Crew, and it's like, is it? Well, I
The
guess
number
if
one
they
show
say it
streaming
is.
the number one show streaming on a Saturday night at 2 a.m.
Right, right. Triple D's Dungeons in the house. What's up, Triple D? Good to see you, man. Afro Jesus says we really
What's
need more Aquaman. I tell you what, at this point, after watching the first Aquaman movie, right, with Momoa, at this point, sometimes I think I'd almost even take a story as simple as that. In that movie's not great. It
It's
did
not
a
great,
billion.
but guess what? You know why it did that?
Momoa.
Yeah, half naked Momoa, right? I mean, come on. More women went to see
You
that.
are correct.
More women went to see that than Black Widow.
Yep,
I
yep,
mean-
yep, yep, yep. Hey, get the ladies.
That's what I'm saying.
Why do you think they had Chris Evans without his shirt, Thor
course.
without his shirt, get his pants ripped off, right? They know what they were doing.
You flipped too hard, damn it.
I did that last night. Anyway, so Bobby says, I heard Disney is trying to find another IP to appeal to.
Yeah,
We're going to get to that, Bobby.
there. Yeah,
we
we're
are
gonna
going to
talk
get to
about
there. And I promise you we are. And if Leslie Headland ruins it, which she would if she could. But yeah, we're going to get there. I promise you we are. And I have the movies and shows that correlates with, and that's a whole ball of wax. And we are going to hit it. I promise you that. So nonetheless, look, these articles coming out saying, oh, Fantastic Four is actually a success. No, it's all a fucking lie.
All right. Graf's got a great question here.
Absolutely. What do you got?
Okay. So do the heads of these companies honestly don't know why these shows and movies are doing so poorly? Are they stupid or evil? I would say neither. I would say ignorant. They don't know the industry. They don't know how the whole system works. They don't understand fan base. They only understand the bottom line, and they've been being fed lies about what the bottom line is and what it's been producing. Even though these numbers have been so drastically diminished, they have enough secret backers or financiers that are paying for the banks that are paying for this stuff on the promise that this company will make right by all of this debt that they're accruing. But they haven't been able to do that. The parks are failing, the movies are failing. So it's all going to fall apart. So they don't want anybody to shatter the illusion. And that's why they won't allow average stockholders to pose questions to the board without them being filtered, because they did that one time and it caused such an uproar
Yeah.
that it brought one of the biggest shareholders and investment people back into the company to try and do a hostile takeover of the company. And he almost succeeded. Almost succeeded. And Bob Iger undercut him and got his minions out there to defame him so that it didn't happen. And then Disney is now lost, still under Bob Iger.
We need to somewhat explain that in reference to, because it is a great question. And we also kind of need to explain. I've listened to the investor calls.
Yeah.
Okay. I've
Yeah, me
listened to
too.
them with various companies. It's boring for most people.
Yeah.
It's usually pre-screened questions.
Yeah.
They get
They
asked
are now.
to these. Yeah, they are now. Every now and then someone will sneak one past the goalie.
Yeah.
But basically these investor calls are people saying, "Hey, I've heard that the parks are kind of wanting to rebrand this part of the park," or, "Hey, we have movies that have kind of focused on this. Are we going to get back to making old-fashioned family movies? Are we going to get back to what's the plan here?" And so the investor calls are very boring.
Yeah.
But they can be very telling if occasionally you get someone who sneaks one past the goalie,
Right.
and then you get the person in charge who then double speaks their way through an answer that answers nothing. And that's when like, there's a problem. They're not going to address it, and
Yep.
they're just going to kind of put their head in the sand and pretend like everything's okay.
Right.
When you and I and all of us know that it's not okay, right? We see the movies, we see the shows, we see what's going on. No one's watching, no one's buying tickets. We know there's a problem, but they act as if there's not a problem, that it's just easily brushed aside. And that kind of correlates to the topic here in a little bit. As far as the heads of companies, I would think that you don't get to that position without having a modicum of business sense and
Right.
what's good and what's bad and what makes money. But as we've seen within this culture war, within this pop culture sphere, that there are people out there who have been able to control what these companies do. And I know Dreadnock's probably furiously typing away in the comments right now when it comes to ESG and your DEI programs and stuff like that. That has been a major portion of why we've gotten such shitty entertainment. It's just true. Because of money that's involved and what's owed to companies that have a stake in what their ideology is. It's just being honest. So I don't know that they're stupid or evil. I think it's about money, and it's about trying to persuade the public to believe that what they're doing is on the right side of things, so to speak. That's the way I look at it. Unfortunately, storytelling suffers, acting suffers,
Yep.
movies suffer, shows suffer, we suffer. Menjoza, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. As always, Warhammer would be cool, Joe Fan 84. I know God knows they got a lot of fans, right? That's for sure. And yeah, yes, man, Joe Fan, maybe it's really the fact that people are scared to death to lose their job, and not just lose their job, lose their income and their access. So then it's one big circle jerk, right? I mean, really. But yeah, it's interesting. I think ultimately the sad part about it for me, and kind of what I brought up about this 500 million is the new norm,
Right.
right? Okay. Well, that's great.
Lowered.
Well, if you have
expectations.
a $300 million budget, then who gives a shit if 500 million is the new norm for a successful movie? You're still not making money, right? So it's a multi-layered. I did want to I did want to touch on this just briefly about some of the experiences of the Marvel actors.
There we go.
Okay. Because I do think that it bears mentioning, and you guys have seen these movies. I know you have. Um, so Ray Winstone, fantastic actor, played the asshole in Black Widow. Was proud of his part in the Marvel movie before reshoots. Describes Dracoff as like a PDF file. Okay, and it says that long noteworthy career. They added him to the MCU as a villain with a major stroke. Should have been a big deal. Instead, he says his experience went sour and will probably never ever be back, even if Kevin Feige wanted him to return. And there's some telling comments in this. I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so he talked about how soul destroying that this was. He
Right.
filmed all of his scenes for Black Widow. Okay, all of them was finished with the movie. All right, he say he worked
Yep.
with a great director, and then when they decided to change his villain, he says, he was like a PDF file running around all these girls. They become
Oh,
Black Widows. He
yeah.
used to get applauded on set. He says it's probably the best thing I've ever really done in a long time. Then I come home after finishing the job and get a call saying we need to do some reshoots. He says, well, how many scenes? They say, well, all of
All
them.
of them.
All of them. He says, so I said she should just recast the role because, I just recast it. Have somebody else come in. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They said, no, you're contracted.
Yep.
So he had to do it. He had to go back. They had to do his hair again, put him in a suit. And he said, I really couldn't do it. I'd already done it. He thought, I'm not doing it now. I've done it. That's how it's going to be. But because he was contractually bound, he had to come back and do it again and reshoot all these scenes, which is very indicative of how Marvel makes their movies.
Yeah.
This is not uncommon. They do a lot of reshoots.
Yep.
And as an actor, once you go in and you do your parts and you assume that, it's done, you've done a great job, you're contractually bound. You don't get paid any more money. You don't get paid any more money to come back
Nope.
and reshoot an entire freaking movie. All of your scenes.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to you as an actor, as somebody's working in the industry. You need to read those damn contracts and figure out what you're signing away before you do it and say, no, this is outrageous. You can
Yes.
call me back in perpetuity for reshoots forever for the entire thing. No, you get a limited time window of reshoot opportunities.
It truly, to me, and this next story is an actor I know most of you definitely know. If you didn't know Ray Winstone, that's fine. Older actor. I
Yeah.
know that you know who Kumail Nanjiani is.
Yep.
Kumail Nanjiani signed on for six Marvel movies before Eternals. He said, I thought it was my job for the next 10 years, and none of that happened. So,
Yeah, like all these fabled trilogies from Dan and Dave and Ryan Johnson and everybody else who's making trilogies that are never happening.
it's yeah, well, Star Wars in particular, they announce stuff
Yeah.
and then it never comes to be. But nonetheless, so on a podcast, he revealed that the commercial disappointment of the Eternals kind of shattered him. He sought out therapy. Now look, I'm not in his head. That's him. He's an actor. I kind of feel like you should be able to brush it off, but it is what it is. Um, However,
They're all ego, man. So they're all ego.
he's got a new stand-up special coming out on Hulu, and the Marvel experience is going to be a decent part of it, and I'm curious about it. He says, talked about how I was in this big movie. It came out right after COVID, so I had a year and a half at home to just be like, oh, when this thing comes out, man, I can't wait. And then it came out, got bad reviews, didn't do well. He said it shattered me. I was like, oh, I need to go get therapy to figure this out. He thought his character would be much more involved in the MCU, which I'm sure he was told
Yep.
how important. You remember on the red carpet, Matthew, everybody that was asked about the Eternals
This
was
movie's
like,
going to save lives.
yes, this movie, It's so diverse. It's so diverse. A diverse cast. It saves lives. This movie's going to save lives. That was the red carpet for that movie, The Eternals.
Yep.
And he said those things also. Okay. So he said, oh, this is going to be my job for the next 10 years. I signed on for 6 movies. I signed on for a video game. I signed on for a theme park ride. They make you sign up for all this stuff. And you're like, okay, the next 10 years, I'll be doing Marvel movies year in and out, probably making guaranteed money, right? Money.
Yeah, royalties,
figures, royalties, points, right? Whatever. And then none of that happened.
Poof.
None of it. Obviously, The Eternals is a terrible movie. It's just boring.
That's better.
It's just boring.
It's just boring. I mean, come on. You take some of the most beautiful women that we've seen in our youth,
oh yes,
and you strap them down with binders so that they have the flattest chest possible. You de-emphasize all of their assets. And you don't play on the comic book aesthetic of anything until you get to the end, and you show this Kirby thing, and then the monster, the giant being in the ocean that never gets brought up again until Ironheart or whatever, or Captain Falcon, Black Winter Soldier.
Yeah. The main thing is that ultimately when they did the chair reveals for Doomsday, right, and they made this big thing, no Eternals cast members have been revealed to be part of the film's ensemble thus far, nor
That's
will
what I
they
said.
be. Why would they be?
Yeah.
Why would they be? Like, what would they even bring to the table in Doomsday?
And nobody remembers their story because nobody saw the movie because nobody cared.
Stanley, I would say that at this point, if he is still contractually obligated, it's almost like being on a music label where you're still contractually obligated, but yet the label doesn't really promote you or put you out on tour. They don't really put you in the studio. They just kind of shelve you. So you can do now, as a musician, you really can't go do anything else. But as an actor, I would assume it's common that, you can take other parts. But if they require you...
That's right.
Then come back, right?
Then you got to come back for this. You're required to do this, and they got to give you enough lead time. Also, there's a time frame, I believe, on this
Probably
as well.
So.
There has to be a time frame. Yeah. These 6 movies have to be made in the next 10 years or whatever, and that's why he says he's made for 10 years, right? Because I assume that had to do with the contract.
So one more actor who's worked for Disney.
Here we go.
And one that I think most of you all know very well. And I know you've got some things to talk about this as well. And I could bring up her interview, but I think this article, it pretty much sums it up. So you guys know who Katie Sackhoff is, right? She played Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian. She voiced Bo-Katan.
Love it.
In the animation. She's a wonderful actress, Battlestar Galactica. So basically, she says that she basically didn't work for 3 years after Star Wars because the show broke her.
Yeah.
That she didn't understand the character. She couldn't relate to the character, and it really kind of ruined her for acting for 3 years.
You know what she did instead?
Started a YouTube channel.
She started a YouTube channel, and she started calling up her friends and doing interviews and bringing them on and having great conversations and doing the guy from Smallville, and he was Flash and the Justice League, doing the Inside of You podcast, just bringing people on and having conversations about the industry, about their experiences and all that stuff. I think she does well with that. I love her. I think she's amazing. I think that she's awesome in just about everything that she's done. She has had such passion for this character in particular. This is one of her most favorite characters that she has ever portrayed in the animated series. When she got to do it live action, she was so excited about it. But after that last season, she's like, what the hell was that?
Right.
Because Dave Filoni does not know how to write or direct live action. And there's debates on his animation as well, but most of that animation stuff is really good. But he also had a lot more guidance.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe collaboration or whatever.
Yeah.
But the But she says here, I lost all of my confidence after The Mandalorian. All of it. I've always played 2 steps removed from myself as an actor and a character.
Yeah.
It always felt grounded in some part of my belly of who I was. Bo-Katan is nowhere near who I am as a human being. Her life, what she wants, I didn't understand her as much as I understood her. I never really felt her in my stomach, never identified with her, and I didn't know how to find her. And my style of acting has always been your first instinct is the right instinct. Play the reality of the situation. And she says, I never really played a character, that character. Now, I have some thoughts on this as well. Because if anybody watched Mandalorian season 3 and you watched what they did with her character, it's total shit. And the season is shit.
Yeah.
How she gets the Darksaber is shit.
Yes.
There's scenes where she's got her leg draped over the arm of the fucking throne as Mando has to walk this long ass hallway in this ridiculous scene where she's just sitting there like doing what? Waiting on anybody to show up to Mando. It's so goofy. And
she's waiting to flick the bean on the chair. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean,
no,
seriously.
It's so terrible with, oh man. The character is such a good character and has so much potential, and then it was just squandered. That season was so horrible. It broke everything that was Star Wars.
Right. Yeah. It's just for me. It seems like, this is kind of a common thing with these actors with the Marvel stuff is that it's the way they shoot, it's the direction they're given. They cast directors rather than hire someone that's talented that fits the project. And then you have someone who's a veteran actress, okay, veteran actor, whatever you want to call it. And this person's like, what the fuck I'm doing here? Like, what am I even doing? And I'm sure no one on set, I'm sure Dave Filoni isn't helping any.
I mean, man, that guy's got his own issues, and if you want to, there's a YouTube account there that cracks me up all the time, and it's Dave Filoni's dog, and he makes the most absurd, bizarre, disgusting super chats, so people will have to read them. But there are people out there who really don't like this man for what he's done. Some people love him. But Katie Sackhoff is probably one of those people that's moving that Dave Filoni to the other side of the line because of this kind of stuff. Because, she's a super geek. She is a nerd, and to meet her in person, to talk with her,
absolutely is. She loves the stuff.
She loves the stuff. She loves the fans. She loves being that engaged into those worlds, and to have her be this disillusioned. It took a life-shattering event, and that was Mandalorian season 3.
Look, I'm not.
And I said from the beginning that you title the show Mandalorian, so you do one season of Din Djarin, and then you do the next season Boba Fett, then you do the third season Bo-Katan, and then you bring them all together, and then you've got 3 seasons that lead to a 4th season, or 2 seasons of Din Djarin, whatever, however you want to do it, but each book should be a different character. Each season was supposed to be a book, and you make it for a different Mandalorian character. And then you have this great anthology of post-Empire Mandalorian's resurrection. And that's where you end it, is the 4th or 5th season is the resurrection of Mandalore with Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, and Boba Fett, leading the charge.
I think definitely the ideas are there. I think Mando season 1, the height of it, right? Yeah. I do like the idea of moving that perspective around to different characters. Dreadnought K6 says, yes, she worked for Disney. Yeah, I mean, we saw what they did with Gina Carano. We've seen, obviously not just here, but then we also looked at just a couple other experiences, and they're not the only ones. Jeremy Renner's had some comments, right? Like we've seen, and unless somebody dangles a big ass check, right? And let's not kid ourselves. A lot of us would do something for a big ass check. Okay, let's not pretend like our moral standards are so high that if somebody brought $4 or $8 million to you or whatever it is, that you wouldn't participate. I'm sorry. Okay,
Yep.
I mean it is what it is. Graf says she shouldn't feel bad. Most people with the brain couldn't understand her character anyway. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I like the character in the Clone Wars series. I'm one
Yeah.
of those people that actually enjoys Clone Wars. I really like Clone
Yeah.
Wars.
It was good. I liked it.
There's a lot of good stuff there. 3 Star says she hit the contouring circuit hard too. She was at ICCC this year here in Nashville, and I
She's
wish I'd have
great.
been able to actually really go to enjoy that, not just for like half a
Yeah.
day before I went to work.
And she's great. I've seen her at several conventions. She's awesome at the conventions. I wanted to get to that other comment that I highlighted.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you did. I just wanted
Yeah.
to say real
Yeah.
quick that yes, I remember that episode Bobby's talking about, and
Yeah.
you are correct. It was like I would have got away with it when you for your darn kids, you know. Which
Yeah.
one
Well,
did you
they
have?
had Lizzo and Jack Black in that season. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, no, that shit was
Let's see, where was it? I lost it. Clint Jorgensen. Yeah.
Clint, what's up, buddy? Anyway, they can replace Pedro in the Meta movie.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, they can, because you go to the Robot Chicken guys and they can mimic his voice,
Sure.
right? And
Sure.
and the guy in the suit has not been him like ever, except for a handful of scenes where they had to take off the helmet to show his face because he's so arrogant and he's got to have his face shown, unlike Carl Urban playing Judge Dredd. But you know,
do you feel though that the way Pedro is and has kind of worked his way in with Disney, I mean he's kind of their poster child right now. I just don't see where they would take him off of that. I just don't see how you do it.
I agree with you. I don't see them doing that. But at the same time, why you got to pay the man when you can have somebody mimic his voice, because he's never going to be seen anyway?
I'm gonna tell you, Matthew, you're right. Like, why would you? I mean, you know, I don't know how much guys gonna get paid for this Mando Grogu movie, which is a fucking terrible title in the first place. But
yeah, whatever.
What if it's just voice acting?
Yeah,
if it's just voice acting, then who gives a shit? Like, what?
Hey,
why?
I know 2 people I can call right now to go do Morgan Freeman, right? You know, and it's not Morgan Freeman,
right?
But he sounds just like him.
Right.
So there's people out there.
I'm with you. And Dreadnought, I get your point definitely, as far as that you're not going to be happy until we stop watching this shit. Here's the deal, Dreadnought. Again,
I want you have to understand this stuff.
You know, I do too. And also, if I stop watching it, then I can't bring it up and talk about it here. So then what do I do? Right? Like, you know, I think that the hope against hope is that the ship will get righted. Right? Like you know it's bad, okay? I know it's bad, but like watching Alien Earth. It's like, okay, well, I hope they get it right. I hope there's an episode that brings some kind of interesting subject matter to me. It's the same thing with Star Wars, right? Like, I'm not just going to give up on it.
Yeah.
Because at some point in time, you would think there's got to be a correction, right? Or an overcorrection from what's been undone. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but at the very least, I need to, you know, it's kind of what I do, you know, like, so, and yes, if I wanted to start a conspiracy theory channel, I do know that Delta 17 Steve, I would probably say, hey, you want to do a stream together, Steve?
It's only a conspiracy theory if it's not true.
Well, yeah, that's true. Who shot JR? But anyway, so, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I want this stuff to be good. Look, Dreadnought, you can't tell me, and any of you guys in the chat, tell me, you know, from 2010 to 2019 or 20, how much fun was it to go to the movies to check up on the next Marvel movie, the next MCU? Like, that was a blast, man.
Yeah.
You know, like connecting the dots, the introduction of Thanos. That was fun. Like, that was a lot of fun to experience. Gonna be hard to get there, but the feeling of that, of talking about it and discussing it and trying to keep up, like, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the shit out of that, you know?
Yep.
And most people did.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have that again.
You've got a beginning, middle, and end of that story. You've got 23 films, and it's over.
Right.
There's nothing after that. Yes. I mean, you can watch the Spider-Man movies on their own and incorporate that in if you want. but that's a Sony product, so that's kind of a totally different thing on its own. But you've got 23 movies that are pretty darn good, and then it's over.
Yes. I mean, it's they wrapped it up. Whether or not that's a nice, neat bow for some, and for
It's
some
an
they
ending.
enjoyed it. For some
It's
they
an
didn't. But
right.
you're right.
It is a cathartic ending, and
Right.
I have problems with the way they ended it. You have problems with the way they ended it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It's a cathartic ending. It is an ending
Right.
to that story, and that's it. We don't need to go beyond it.
I did. Let's see here, really quickly, make sure I'm not missing nothing. Because I am going to bring up your pictures here in a little bit, because I want to show these off, because they are fucking bad.
Some of them I
folks.
haven't released yet on my Instagram, so I'm just saying. Some
Okay, so a
early
little behind the
previews.
scenes, early look.
Yeah.
Got a few quick stories to bang out before we jump into the main topic. So don't know if you guys heard this news or not. I don't know. This is making the rounds. It's just came out. But yes, it is true, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor Swift is engaged. How about it? How about it, folks? Taylor Swift is engaged. Yeah, let's give her a round of applause.
And that's why Ronnie Trickshot is not in chat tonight because he is in mourning.
Yeah, I bet he is. Well, at least
No.
it's not. At least it's not Sydney.
It's not
That's
Sydney.
right. At least it's not Sydney. And evidently the engagement ring is about $1 million. And speak of the devil, you got that right,
there
buddy.
he is.
Ronnie
There he is.
Trickshot in the house. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. Yeah, no, it's look, the engagement seen and heard around the world, folks. It's probably the most important thing in my life, and hopefully it's the most important thing in yours.
I mean, this is
too,
right up there
actually.
with Princess Diana, right?
Yep,
I mean,
yep,
come
yep,
on.
Yep. Candle in the wind. All right, and Cobra Kai creators tackling Knight Rider movie for Universal. Did you know about this? Did you hear about this? You seen this?
Briefly. You know what? If the Cobra Kai creators are going to tackle Knight Rider, okay. So first off, do you know how many other iterations of Knight Rider there have been since the original?
Oh, I remember the one. I remember
There were two.
One,
There were two other iterations, and neither one of them lasted more than gone. Right. One of them lasted like a season, I believe, and they tried to interconnect it and everything. So
right.
if these guys are involved with it and they're going to put the effort into it like they did with Cobra Kai, because they mapped out 5 seasons of Cobra Kai and what they wanted to do and how they wanted to get from point A to point B, and then they got to do it. And their budgets kept growing because they were really that good at putting the pieces together.
Right.
I don't know that there's as much love or as much story to be told here, but
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do with it. I think a season or two of this would be pretty darn interesting.
I can't argue with that. I think as a TV show, right, not a movie, right, a TV show, so you can develop your characters. You get a little breathing room to it. Is anybody in the chat interested in a new Knight Rider if it's made by the people that made Cobra Kai, which was a quality show, as goofy as it was? Maybe this would be of similar vein, right? I think would be okay.
Yeah.
The Kit Car, obviously iconic. David Hasselhoff, iconic. I'd have to say would get a cameo. Let's not kid ourselves.
No. Look. No.
You don't think so?
He's got to be a main character in this show.
Really? Do you think he plays? Who was the old guy? Who was the old guy in the original? Right?
Yes, he's got to be the guy who brings in the next guy.
All right. I mean, I'm good with that. And quickly, Afro Jesus. Listen, if Wyatt guessed that, I got to tell you, we weren't going to talk about it long, and I'm pretty sure it's a Taylor Swift comment, if I had to guess, because it would be the biggest news, right? But I'm with you, Afro. That's funny. So I don't know if anybody's truly interested in in this, but I'd be curious to see it, and
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
done as well as Cobra Kai was done, we might actually get something kind of
Exactly.
special. Something kind of
Exactly.
fun. I did want to mention a comment from Bobby quickly, going back before we move to our Bella Ramsey story. Bobby Wold says, "Do they still have that one director that's supposed to do the Ray movie, Charmaine Sinead Chaboy or a boy or ya boy, whatever? Yes, the one that liked making men feel uncomfortable. She was really more of a documentarian. I don't believe that is ever going to come to fruition, Matthew. I'm
No.
sure you agree with me.
I think this movie is sunk in the water.
Yeah,
Kathleen
the
Kennedy,
Ray Star Wars movie, dead in the water.
I mean, Kathleen Kennedy will go to her grave trying to make this, but she's not going to get any traction. I don't
Nah.
know that it's going to happen because everybody that I know, and beyond that, nobody calls her Ray Skywalker. Everybody calls her Ray Palpatine because everybody
Right.
knows that she's a freaking Palpatine.
And nobody really wants this. I mean,
Nope.
who wants this, right?
And you know what? I mean, Daisy's good sport. You know, whatever. She did her part for what she could. There was again so much potential, with that first movie, but then they blew it in the last half of the movie and in the sequels because they didn't have a
Yeah.
plan. They could have done something really cool with these people, and it would have been something for the ages. But they threw it all away, and Daisy Ridley dragging her back out. I don't think Daisy wants to be dragged out, but I think the contract may force her to do so. And Kathleen Kennedy is going to grab a hold of this one until her dying breath.
Yeah, yeah. It's again, Bobby. That's pretty much dead in the water. Whether she
Yeah.
wants it to happen or not, if they did, it would be an absolute disaster. It would lose money. No
Yeah.
one's interested, and hopefully, better people, have talked her out of that or talked him out of it. If all they got to do is just look at the analytics. Excuse me. I mean, no one wants that. 3-star says as long as it's not that shitty newer one where they turn Kit into a Mustang of all things. No, we don't
Yeah.
want that. We don't need that. We need a Pontiac Trans Am or Firebird. And I'm sure it'll be a new one. Let's not kid ourselves. But I'd give it a shot. I'd like to see it. It could be fun, And Clint says, I still price out those Trans Ams. I'm with you, Clint. I do too. And boy, back when we were younger, you'd see them on the road. You don't see them that much often anymore, do you? Great cars. Gas guzzlers, but great cars. Johnny says, I'd watch it. Why not? Hoff main cast, Stanley says. Oof. Not so good.
Look, it may
So
not be
good.
good, but he has to be a part of the main cast if they're going to follow through with the Cobra Kai
Right.
methodology, right?
Do you think that maybe they would have a guest star, a young lady who has gained traction, who has gained fame, who can sing, who can dance? They could bring her in, Matthew, and maybe give her a bit part, kind of like this.
In my factory. Many in my factory.
Do you think she would get a guest spot?
It depends on how they wanted to go with the show. That's for sure.
I can't help it. I think I'm in love with her. Anyway, so yes. Okay, getting to Bella Ramsey before we get to our big topic, we got one more story after this, after Bella Ramsey. Evidently, ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not know this. You may have heard about this. Did you hear about this? Did you see this? Bella Ramsey got diagnosed with autism after Last of Us crew member noticed the signs. A trained crew member, doctor, noticed the signs, and now Bella Ramsey says it's liberating and freeing to know she was diagnosed by someone who is called a key grip or a best boy. What do you think?
Man, these Hollywood people, they want as many purse puppies as they can get a hold of. I mean, they force their kids to do all kinds of stuff to get attention. They do whatever they can for their ego and their attention. And because a key grip identifies her as autism, she's going to say, I'm on the spectrum now. and throw this out there, and she has no idea what being on the spectrum is like for the families and the people that have to deal with this.
Okay.
This is going to make a lot of people mad.
This is ridiculous. This is okay. This is a word I'm tired of hearing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Neurodivergence.
Yeah. No, neurodivergence. No.
Okay, stop it. Stop
yeah,
it.
just stop it.
Stop it. So evidently, sought out an autism diagnosis. She sought it out. It wasn't that she went and somebody said, "Hey, I think."
Is
so
that,
she
is that,
went
is that
looking
worse
for.
than doctor shopping, or
Is
about the
it-
same as doctor shopping?
Is that how much money you pay, and then you can just get
Give me
whatever
this
diagnosis
Give me
that
this.
you want?
Put it.
Because
Put it on my medical records. Come on.
I
I need
gotta
the
tell ya.
disability check. I need the disability check. Oh, wait.
I gotta tell you, I got some cash right here. I got some cash right here in front of me. If maybe, just maybe, I could go. I mean, I self-diagnosed insomnia, but I think it's because literally I couldn't
You
sleep.
weren't
But
sleeping.
maybe
I mean,
that's
there's-
what I'm just guessing. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So crew member recognized the signs on set while filming season 1. Finally getting a diagnosis was liberating, especially if you pay for it. I've spoken a bit about neurodivergence before. I've never heard her speak about it. Not really sure what she did speak about it. And she always, for some reason, didn't want to say what it was. I got diagnosed with autism when I was filming season 1 of The Last of Us. Look, I'm not going to say that people can't, okay, hang on. No, you know what? No. Because I'm going to read the next part.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the next part, and I want you guys to hear this next part right now. And I know there's some chat going on. According to Ramsey, a member of the crew with an autistic daughter assumed Ramsey had it too. So why did she assume she had it too? Which prompted them, because we know that's okay, fine, to eventually seek out a formal psychiatric assessment and diagnosis. Ramsey described herself. Okay, folks, listen to me clearly. Listen to me closely. Okay? Really listen. Ramsey described feeling like a weirdo and a loner. Admitting
Wow.
autism was something they had always wondered about. Okay.
Maybe she's just a geek.
Hello.
Maybe she's just a
Weirdo,
geek.
loner. Does that even come close to equating to autism? Like, I can't even put these pieces together, dude. I'm sorry.
You know what? I wish-
Maybe I'm an asshole.
I wish
okay?
Oz was here. I wish a couple of them were here, because they would be blowing up at this whole conversation, because this is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. This is not how you get diagnosed with that
can't
stuff.
Even
And it's not even the same. I mean, I'm dyslexic. I'm autistic.
let me ask you-
because I hyper focus on stuff and I get super detailed about everything, and it's my superpower, like Star Trek Discovery. Autism is a superpower now in Aliens, Predator, the Predator. Remember,
That's right.
autism
The Predator.
was a
Oh,
superpower.
yep.
These people haven't had to live with a child with autism. They haven't had to understand what it really truly means to be on the spectrum, and it drives me insane when they throw it around so casually and say, "Oh, look at me."
Yes, carelessly,
Yes.
and then to say that after receiving the diagnosis, it's freeing and enables me to walk through the world with more grace towards myself. That's not how this works.
It's not how this works.
Like, I mean, I'm sorry. And if you've ever known anybody that's on the spectrum, and
Yes.
I do,
Yep.
that's not how this shit works.
No, it is not.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. And I couldn't help but bring it up because I thought this is a poster child of an actor in Hollywood seeking some other either victimhood or some other validation from people over something to keep your name in the news cycle. This is unbelievable.
And just because it came up today, I'm going to bring it up really quickly, and you guys can do your own investigation on it. Dreadnought K6, I'm sure you already have. But the federal government is threatening to release the cause of autism because they have found it, and why it's in such a higher percentage in California than any other state in the United States. They're going to discuss in a few weeks and release that data. Supposedly, sure, just like the Epstein files. I'm sure it'll be released.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, by the way, I did see a story about, I think it was in Korea, that there was a group of scientists that were able to actually revert cancerous cells back to normal cells. I just read that story just the other day, and the first comment under the article, you know what it said? Remember, they aren't suicidal. Think about that.
Yeah. Maybe
Uh,
autism
so-
is fluid.
Yeah, but literally, scientists in, I think it was South Korea, if I'm not mistaken, were able to reverse a
Yeah.
cancerous cell back to a normal cell,
J-
and it's like, no, we can't have that.
No, yeah.
Cannot have
Dude,
that.
too much money in cancer. Can't
Right.
do that.
Yeah, 3-star. If you could get Connie Chung to do a commercial for your channel, that would be pretty badass. Hear her
would be
say
awesome.
3-star draw. You know, hearing a lot of people say 3-star draw might actually break them. Not everybody. It does it flow off the tongue. It flows off my tongue, but not everybody. With an accent anyway. Down here, 3-star draw is easy to say. Maybe not so much in Vermont. I don't know. But anyway, adult Gerber baby, I love you, Giraffe. You are fantastic. But yeah, it's just interesting that this thing, it blows me away. How this is a thing and how this obviously gets picked up by the trades, right? Of course it does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of
Um,
course it is. It's
So
whatever.
really quickly, and Viper Scout says, for shit, I'm autistic. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you
I don't
are. You get autism. You get autism.
Yeah, I have-
Everyone gets autism.
Said that one earlier.
Golly. And Reno says, "Hey, my nephew's autistic. She's just a moron." I mean, look, come on. Let's
No,
get
no,
it
no,
right.
Read that again, Pop.
No. I know.
Okay, read that again slowly.
My nephew is
My
autistic.
nephew is
Is autistic.
autistic. She's
She's just a
a
moron.
moron.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't agree more. Brogu is here, but Brogu is also gone. Brogu, damn it! In and out, just like that. Love you, Brogu. All right, you have a great rest of your week. But nonetheless, let's see. It's the microplastics, says Graf, that makes their way into one's brains. Then global warming melts it like grilled cheese on bread. Wowie. Okay. I look, I can buy into that. I can buy into a lot of things. What I can't buy into is Bella Ramsey is autistic.
Well,
Can't
so
buy
I
into
bet you
that.
there might be a different cause that the government talks about if they're talking about California being the leading, more autistic
Right.
children are born in California than anywhere else.
And see Joe fan right here. Hey, look, 4th grade, ton of different classes at school, after school help with it, right? You're not on a movie set. You're not
Yeah.
running from fake zombies. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying people can't deal with it. It's just quite interesting that a crew member
Yeah,
is like,
well,
hey,
so
I think you're
look,
autistic. I don't know. That's just
there's enough things that my wife would agree with that I would probably fall on the spectrum in some category, but I've never been diagnosed with it. I'm never going to claim that. Just like dyslexia,
Sure.
I've never been
Right.
diagnosed with it, but I'm pretty sure that I have parts of it
right.
going on in my head. But it's not, these are things I've never been diagnosed with, and it's never been anything that stopped me from doing what I want. So it's not severe enough to have a diagnosis for.
Right. No. Yeah. I fully understand that. And
To have tendencies is not to say you have something.
yeah, right. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It seemed really, and J.K. said, hey, he's just a nerd.
Why
Yeah,
do you think I yell out nerds on the
So-
beginning of all of Punk's streams?
self-professed, right?
I am a
Um,
self-professed nerd.
And could be a PR stunt, right, Joe fan? That's usually what Hollywood is.
Usually.
Look, my stream Thursday night, I talked about Little Nas X, and all of a sudden he's walking down the road naked, or he's in cowboy. Why would he be? I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason. We'll figure it out. We'll find it out. So let's get into the main thing before we get out of here tonight.
Dreadnought never had any of those, thankfully, but yeah.
All those swirlies. Here's the deal. and I brought this up just briefly on Sunday. Disney's Boy Trouble studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel and Lucasfilm struggles. So basically, this article says that Disney is trying to figure out a way to bring back the Gen Z, the 13 to 28-year-old. They say that, and I love this. I love this. You guys tell me, first and foremost, it says, okay, every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular are a lonely, gaming-obsessed group who were hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns.
Wait.
So you mean to tell me someone who is 28 years old that was 25 years old in 2020 was in their formative years? Or 23 years old?
In a lot of ways, possibly, but they're basically calling everybody in that age gap at incels, right?
Yes, not only are they calling them incels, this is the very demo they worked so hard to push away.
They spent $8.4 billion to include these people, and then they threw them all away.
You remember that particular age group was the protagonist in She-Hulk, right?
The protagonist in everything past 2016.
Or the antagonist. Okay, so they took this demo, blamed them for not watching their female-led and girl boss shows that demeaned the men in the shows and relegated them to side stories and side characters and passengers in their own named shows.
And then now they wonder why they lost that audience. They might be mentally deficient.
How many times have we talked about this? How many times have you and I talked about this? They blame the guys for not supporting Miss Marvel, or, The Marvels, or She-Hulk, or how about the Leia-led Obi-Wan? How about the Fennec Shan-led Boba Fett? How about Season 3 Bo-Katan-led Mandalorian? As a matter of fact, I can't wait to bring this up, folks, because I made a list.
He's got a list, folks. We're in trouble.
He's got a list. And we're just going to list it off from 2020 till now. Let's talk about the Marvel films and shows and the Star Wars shows that have been made. And fill me in if I miss any, Matthew. Okay. 2021, Black Widow. Shang-Chi. How was Shang-Chi in that movie, Matthew? Do you remember how Shang-Chi was in that movie?
Well, Shang-Chi was the least important thing in his own movie. His sister did everything better than him. His partner, Aquafina, whatever, berated him the entire time because Marvel's Katie was superior in all aspects with her bow and arrow. Marvel's Katie was the Target exclusive superhero from the Eternals line. I'll
never forget the scene of Shang-Chi terrified in the car in the passenger seat.
Yeah, right? just shaking in fear as the master of kung fu. As the master of kung fu, who was trained by all the great ones, and whose sister was not, but could do kung fu better than him.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How about the Eternals?
I mean, you bound all those women so tight that had wonderful, voluptuous rock melons, and then you hid them from the public. So I don't know who was female in that. So I couldn't really tell you who was the lead in that one because nothing really happened in it anyway. So
okay, so let's say because every now and then a dog gets a bone. Spider-Man: No Way Home. All right.
Yeah, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Let's think about that for just a second, though. I mean, the story did revolve around MJ.
Yeah, that's true. It did. Now, I'm okay with that to an extent.
I love that.
The rest of the film is good. Exactly.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange
was not Doctor Strange two moms had nothing to do with Doctor Strange.
Absolutely.
Had everything to do with the Scarlet Witch and her psychopathic obsession
And
illogical understanding of how children are made and who her love actually was, and just forgot everything about the character altogether.
And remember his sidekick, right? In the movie,
America Chavez
was more important than Doctor Strange in the movie. Remember?
Well, so yeah, Scarlet Witch and America
What's up,
Chavez
Tony?
is what the movie was about. The movie wasn't about Doctor
It
Strange.
wasn't about Doctor Strange. Okay, so let's move along.
What's up, Tony?
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
interesting.
When what's her name becomes Thor, and it's no longer it's
Lady
no longer
Thor, right?
Thor,
Lady Thor,
it's-
right.
Well,
Mhm.
don't call her Lady Thor. She's
No,
Thor.
don't you dare do that. She is Thor.
She
Okay,
is
let's
Thor.
let's move along. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Well, Black Panther's dead, so Shuri has to become the new badass, and it's all about discovering Riri Williams and kidnapping her against her will to go her back into the African slave trade. Oh, wait, no, they wanted to force her to be better. And so they brought her back to Wakanda because Wakanda was better than everywhere else on the planet. And only the women could do this, and only the women could survive and defeat everyone.
Let's move along. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Well, it was definitely the Wasp and Ant-Man, because the Wasp took lead center role with what's her name, the mom,
and the daughter berates the father continually throughout the movie, and even Hank Pym talks shit so
yeah. No,
so Scott Lang is a piece of shit in Ant-Man. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What did that plot revolve around?
Animal abuse.
No, remember Gamora.
Oh yeah, trying to bring Gamora back, but no,
wasn't trying to bring her back. It was. Remember, Star-Lord was an asshole for trying to rekindle a relationship because he actually was in love with her. Remember that? And they were in love, right. But she girl bossed his ass away.
Yeah, because that's not the Gamora that he fell in love with. That's a different Gamora, and
right.
And but yeah, animal abuse and girl boss.
Let's keep moving. The Marvels.
I don't know.
How about this? WandaVision.
Okay, I mean, yeah.
We're gonna get a common theme here. Okay, we're gonna get a common theme.
Psychopathic woman. About a psychopathic woman who took over a town and tortured everybody, but it was okay.
But that's okay because it's her
trauma. And it's okay that she tortured all those people and made people die and be horribly traumatized for the rest of their lives.
And never forget, it's her trauma.
Because she loved her robotic boyfriend.
Partner. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad you said it.
And had to have the wonderful cameo from the greatest Quicksilver ever to be a boner of a joke. Literally, his name was Boner. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they teased everybody, right? Bringing somebody in from a different. Oh no! You're stupid, and he's
going to
stupid.
Combine the X-Men universe with ours. Oh, psych! No, we're not.
Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, you guys hopefully are catching on to what I'm bringing that correlates to this article and why this shit is so stupid. Let's move along. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Okay, not a lot there. That ties into the same.
No. You have
what?
Freckle Jesus.
Yes, thank you.
Freckle Jesus.
You mean the terrorist who blew people up but was misunderstood? And when Sam Wilson says, "You need to do better, Senator," he's talking about the fact that Freckle Jesus was in the right for killing people because she just didn't feel good. Okay, let's move along. How about Loki?
Well, the Sylvie, the female version of Loki,
better than Loki.
Remember that entire episode where Loki got kicked in the balls?
Oh, I do remember that episode. Over and over and over again. Yeah, that was so funny. That was so funny watching him get kicked in the balls.
And Sylvia was right all along.
Sylvia was right all along. Absolutely.
And so was body positivity.
Body positivity cop, time cop. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's move along. How about we'll pass What If because who gives a shit. Let's go to Hawkeye.
Kate Bishop.
No, it's called Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Matthew.
yeah, Kate Bishop.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Again, another show.
Now, to be fair,
To be fair,
this was probably the best iteration of passing the torch because they actually included Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye in this
Yes.
show, and he did have an involvement that was integral to the story and passing it on. And Kate Bishop was a worthy successor in
Right.
this storyline. So this was a good story. And the rest have been shit so far. We haven't hit a good one until this one, and it was just okay because what they did to Kingpin in the end is unforgivable. But because it introduced the worst Marvel character ever.
what about
Echo.
Echo?
Yeah,
Echo, remember Echo?
yeah.
Yes, Echo again. Okay, never mind. We didn't even talk about Echo. How about Moon Knight?
Oh, the story that's about Moon Knight's wife, girlfriend,
Yes.
who's more powerful than he is and
Yes.
overruns the entire show. And
Yes.
the show could have been one of the most badass shows ever. I mean, this is Marvel's Batman, right? This show could have been
Ooh,
crazy,
this is
amazing,
rich.
and you could have dived down into the depths of the psychology and the multiple personalities thing, which
Yes,
they
sir.
developed later, which is a little crazy, but it's okay because you can throw it in there, and then you have the mystical elements, but you threw it all away to do a girl boss character who is better than Moon Knight at Moon Knight's own job. And you
Okay.
didn't ever do Werewolf by Night. You didn't bring in the werewolf from Werewolf by Night. So
Right.
it can't even really be Moon Knight because that took place in the first issue of Moon Knight. So,
Okay.
that show could have been so good.
Next up on the list,
I love the actor who played Moon Knight.
Miss Marvel.
Do who what now?
Yeah, enough of that, right?
That-
yeah,
that
did
show was-
so well.
That show is not made for me, and I heard it was good, but it was made for teenage girls. And
Good is
that's
a
it.
strong word, friend.
look,
She-Hulk,
look.
attorney at law.
Hey, She-Hulk, if it was John Byrne's She-Hulk, it could have been freaking hilarious and so
Yep.
much fun and engaging. But no,
Right.
this show is angry and bitter, and they went after Doomcock of all people. I mean, they literally put Doomcock in the TV show because they were so butthurt over his commentary,
Over criticism.
over criticism, and they literally threw him in this TV show to fucking troll him and to troll everybody else who ever said anything bad
Doomcock.
about a Marvel product ever. And then you took Daredevil, one of the most beloved characters that was not an MCU character, that was a Netflix character, Netflix Marvel character, and you utterly destroyed him in this show. So you have Echo that destroyed Kingpin, and you've got this one that destroys Daredevil.
Yes.
So I mean, these are terrible, terrible shows.
I will finish just to get rid of the Marvel stuff because then we got to go through Star Wars. Secret Invasion.
Okay, if you want to take the most badass motherfucker on the entire planet and you reduce him to a bitch who got his eye scratched out by a kitty cat and then make every decision he made not his own. He was along for the ride as all of these other Skrulls manipulated his entire ascension to power. So basically, Nick Fury was a dupe and a dumb shit his entire
Including
career.
his wife.
His wife was a Skrull. War
Okay.
Machine was a Skrull
Right.
from Civil War on. Okay.
Okay, so again, I hope you guys are understanding where I'm going with this, right? Again, all those shows have something in common, but guess what? Star Wars also does, such as the sequel trilogy, The Mandalorian turned into, the Book of Boba Fett was Boba Fett doing nothing while Fennec Shan ran the show.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
Boba
Kenobi
Fett
was a show
freaking
about
dumbass in that
Prin-
show,
Obi-Wan Kenobi was a show about Princess Leia.
which
No
they
Luke.
never should have met at all.
Right.
And Obi-Wan was a freaking dumbass that he didn't know he could walk around that gate. I mean,
Right.
come on.
And really from there, mostly, and this is again just Star Wars and just Star Wars and Marvel. Star Wars, because they have not made as much content, won't have their feet held to the fire as much. However, nonetheless, what we have seen with Star Wars also has done what? The common theme with all of this, folks, okay? They've tried to turn the MCU and Star Wars into a girl brand. When
They spent $8.4 billion to acquire these two things to bring in boys to their brand.
to bring girls to their brand.
No. They stated when they bought this, they wanted to
Oh,
bring
yes, yeah.
boys
Originally, yes.
into the brand.
Right. Now,
And then they did all of this.
yes,
And it
the
proves that
exact
Disney has always been and always will be a girls' brand. And if you take a long state property that's been around for forever and that has this huge following, and you say, we're going to shift gears and do something totally different that you've never done before, you lose everyone. You don't get new people at all. Or the new people you get does not replace the people that you have lost.
the thing of it is that Star Wars, Marvel, predominantly boys. However, plenty of women like Star Wars prior to, during the 90s, right? Even in through. It's not like girls didn't like Star Wars, but the
Right.
fact of the matter is guys like sci-fi, they like gear porn and ship porn, they like lightsabers and laser pistols, and they like Iron Man suits and Captain America shields and superpowers and all that kind, right? It just is what it is. And when you work that hard, all those shows we listed off have in common the fact that they pushed aside their male characters on purpose to try to then shove a character that most guys really don't care about. And then when you didn't accept it, they told you were the asshole, that you're the problem with this country, that there's something wrong with you, and you need to look inside yourself and figure out what's wrong with you. And
Yeah.
now, because they've lost so much money and their movies have done so terribly and the shows have done so bad, now, back to the article, they're trying to get guys back to watch their shit. And it's so rich to me. It's so rich that they spent years
And
pushing away the
$8.4
fan
billion
base.
dollars
Right. Pushing away the fan base. And now they need you back. Now, again, the demographic they want, 18 to 35 or 13 to 28, whatever it is. But the problem is, the realization is this. Things have a cycle, Matthew.
Yep.
Star Wars was really popular for a long time,
Yep.
but not everything stays popular forever.
Yep.
And especially if you do it the way they've done it the last 10 plus years.
Well, here's another interesting thing. Most things, anything that's popular doesn't last long. Okay, Doctor Who was never popular. It had a fan base. Star Trek was never popular. It had a fan base. Marvel Comics was never popular. It had a fan base, right? And that fan base grew and grew and grew over time because of consistency. And then 40, 50 years later, when you turn around and try and flip that story on its head, you destroy it. And you lose all of that fan base, and you lose any potential interest for anybody in the future. But there's this thing called the zeitgeist, and it can pick things up from time to time.
That's right.
And in 1977, the zeitgeist picked up Star Wars, and it became the most popular thing in the world. But a lot of people didn't want to talk about it because it was too nerdy and too geeky or whatever. So it wasn't popular, but it hit the zeitgeist and created this memory for everyone.
We've also seen where things have a life cycle, and then over time, nostalgia, right? Remembrance or reverence can bring things back into the public consciousness and make it just as popular again. Can reinvigorate it. But that's if it's done right? The problem is it's been done wrong. Now, the Marvel stuff, look, great run. Since 2020, it's not a crapshoot. It's a shit shoot.
Yeah.
It's mostly been bad.
Really
And so where that goes, I don't know. But the interesting thing about this, and I know you have a starred comment, and actually Viper Scout, it was Mando season 2, I think, was the scene where Luke comes back.
at the end of season 2. Yeah.
Of season two.
Yeah.
And then I remember the end of season 3 with the Rancor, maybe. And
season 3 was a freaking mess because
that's right.
It went into Bo-Katan's story
right.
and included Boba Fett.
And you know what? I love that too. I love the end of season 2. I loved it. I love seeing Luke. And that was right up my alley. It brought back all the feels. It was awesome.
And you remember what everybody said about this? This is going to erase the sequel trilogy because they're going to fix it right here. Everybody's like, they're going to fix it right here. And everybody who's in the know is like, you're dreaming.
And
Kathleen Kennedy hated season 2 of The Mandalorian because
she had to have
because of how many people love that ending of it.
She didn't want Luke Skywalker anywhere around that shit. Joe Fan, my sister loves Star Wars and she was born in 1977, likes the new stuff too, even though he hates it, and that's cool. That's fine. Viper Scout says most girls I knew did not like Star Wars. My sister loves Star Wars. She had the movie poster on her wall in her bedroom. And look, we can pick and choose and say who and this and that, but I get what you're saying.
I agree with you. Most women didn't, but I will tell you, my wife sure did. She was born in 1974 and she loves Star Wars. And I love Star Wars, and that wasn't our first big connection. Our first big connection was The Fifth Element because she worked on that movie, and I love that.
Yeah, that's right.
Movie.
Yeah. Man, cool ass movie anyway. Right? I mean, come on, let's not kid ourselves. Johnny Reno, I'm with you on the lawn darts thing, by the way. Let's bring that shit back. Hey, Natural selection, Johnny Reno.
Johnny Reno, my wife found a pristine set of lawn darts and picked it up. And then she tried to resell it because it would be worth something. Nobody would let her sell it. It was illegal to sell on all internet platforms.
Really?
So she had to throw the darts away, and she sold the box. And she sold the box for more than what she paid for the whole set because somebody just wanted the freaking box. And I'm like, okay, great. But lawn darts, man, what a game!
Interesting. So quickly, just to show, what's up, Todd C? Good to see you, buddy. So ultimately, really, the true intention for Disney is to create new IP. They're not looking to get people back to Star Wars. They are, but they're not. This is not their MO. Their MO, it says, is they're seeking new IP pitches, such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts, as well as seasonal fare-like films for the Halloween corridor. I love the talk. I love the speak. Corridor. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
it says the calls come as Star Wars struggles to produce a film project, and the superhero genre sheds audiences by the minute. So really, what Disney's trying to do is maybe create new IP, but Matthew, we've talked about this all the time. They're good at buying shit. They don't create anything anymore. They don't create anything. They just buy other properties.
Yeah. So I mean, Bob Iger is the king of buying shit, right? That's all he does. He buys stuff and then he ruins it because he's a failed weatherman. And in a weatherman's job, you can be wrong 70% of the time and still keep your job. Right. And so this guy is wrong 70% of the time, but he still keeps his job. So he's living up to the weatherman profile. Right. He's not a creative. He never has been a creative. And people are longing for the days of the I just lost his name. The previous head of Disney, Michael Eisner. Right. They're longing for the Michael Eisner days of things, but who was after Disney, but he was more corporate minded. But he still had a creative thought process. Iger doesn't know what creativity is.
No. He's not a creative. He's the businessman, and he's only there to gobble up, IP and film studios and add it to their thing. They, rolling up Hulu. They bought the NFL recently, right? Like that's what they do. So they're
Yeah.
not creatives. They just buy shit and then they fuck it up. And what Disney's hoping for really is that the generation of millennials that love The Lion King, 101 Dalmatians, Lilo and Stitch, are now bringing their kids to this stuff. That's why we've seen all these live action reboots and all this live action shit, of animated stuff. But it says Gen Z's a different story because they don't have that built-in interest.
Yeah.
They're more inclined with video games and like Minecraft movie and TikTok and stuff like that. So how do you get those people to show up at the theater? And that's really the challenge. And they're not up for the challenge. Like, look, just to give you guys an idea, again, not creative. You know what they did? They bought a $1.5 billion equity stake in the gaming juggernaut Fortnite, just so they can put their fucking characters into Fortnite. They didn't create a video game. They didn't come out with a competitive game. They just bought $1.5 billion worth of Fortnite so that now they can put their characters into the game. Do kids care about that? Maybe, maybe not.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just they got rid of all their creatives. They got rid of their Lasseter. They got rid of all these people that actually created.
Creative people are problematic. They have too many ideas.
Well, they're white. They're white. They're white. They're what are they? Male, pale, and stale. Right? Is that what it's called? Male, pale, and stale.
And their corporate BlackRock ideas. They can't be creative because that would spur thought and emotion, and we can't have thought and emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they even reference here, it says, however, Disney was the king at the box office last year and again this year with Avatar, Fire and Ash and Zootopia 2. 4 movies from 4 Disney labels have grossed more than $1 billion in the past 16 months. No other studio has had one in that time frame. Nonetheless, the reality is like they got a really tough road ahead of them if they're going to try to create supposedly new IP and bring back boys. Disney has and will always be a girls' brand.
Yeah.
And that's just the facts.
No IP they have ever created has brought boys in.
No.
IPs that they have acquired have gathered some attention from males on occasion, but it's fleeting.
And I love this quote before we get out of here for the night. I love the last part of this article where it talks about a rival executive, talking about Disney. And he says, I never thought I'd say it, the exec muses about the Magic Kingdom's boy troubles, but it looks like Disney is going to have to start trying. And yes, you and I definitely get the reputation for people about bashing on Disney, but this article encapsulates what you and I have said so many times about the company and about the stuff they're putting out and the fact that they have pushed away fans. They've targeted fans as the problem. They have gotten political and they have shunned men and boys away. And now they desperately need them back. I find it so rich that this is a thing now. And it's like, it was always a thing, but you guys were too stupid to understand it.
Yeah.
So, fascinating to me. They created their own problem, and now they want to solve it by trying to bring back the very people that they hate.
They hate and demean at every opportunity. And hey, wait, come back so we can hate and demean you some more. People are done with this stuff.
I hope, and again, look, like Dreadnought said, why do you guys I'll be happy when you guys are done. But again, it is part of the pop culture sphere. It's part of the news cycle. I have to cover it. But like you, I want the stuff to be good. I
Yeah.
want good stories. I want good movies. I want good shows. And you keep coming back like a battered wife because you think maybe they might get it right one time.
One time.
Like Andor, for instance. But that's a diamond in a needle in a haystack, right? Like that's so far and few between.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
and
story really wasn't about Andor though, so
no, it wasn't, and I'm okay with that.
it was still a
Didn't
good
need to
story.
be. Hell yeah, it was. It was a fucking great fucking show. Let's few comments before we jump out of here for the week. And I know I highlighted it earlier, but yes, Johnny Reno. I think a lot of people probably still wish they had him. I just don't know how often they would play with them.
Yeah.
Viper Scout, it's not the IP's fault, it's the writers. I agree that you can have all the IP you want in the world. If you can't write it, then it
Well,
doesn't matter.
they purchased these to make them profitable again, but they didn't hire the proper people to
Right.
make them successful. They went to the
Absolutely.
lowest common denominator. They went to people with agendas, and they threw it out there, and the people don't want those agendas. I mean, just
Well-
listen to Snoop Dogg's comments this week.
Yep. If you guys haven't heard, I brought it up the other night.
Yeah.
I think I even played the TikTok or the Instagram video. But yeah, he took his grandson to see Lightyear, and his grandson had questions as to how two women could have a baby in the middle of the movie, and he
Yep.
did not take very well to that.
Yeah.
Bobby says, didn't Mike Eisner try to sabotage Fern Gully because he wanted Robin Williams on Aladdin solely? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
I
And of
mean,
course,
Michael, I'm not.
You
I'm
tell
not
me,
saying,
how did that turn out?
Yeah, I'm not saying Michael Eisner wasn't an asshole. I'm
No.
not saying that at all. But I am saying that he had more creative bones and creative direction than Bob Iger did.
Yeah,
does.
it's and Viper Scout. Yep, Disney Infinity video game. That was the Toys to Life phase that had a very short popularity lifespan. And
There's this new thing.
Skylanders and
Yeah.
that kind of
With
thing.
I don't know what this new thing is, but there's this little box, and you can buy all the characters, and you can stick it on the box, and the box will talk and do all these other things with it. My daughter's super interested in it. She wants it, and I'm like, no, there's no point in this. But it's this whole infinity type of idea that they're taking to a different level to try and get kids engaged with their product, with the quotes, with member berries. Remember this?
Right.
And go back and watch the
And
movie.
and I want to remind you, Viper Scout, Cars, Toy Story, wonderful properties. You know who
Not
the person
Disney.
was? You know who directed that? Yeah. Do you know
not
who was?
Disney. Not Disney.
It's John Lasseter, who they forced out of the company.
And it wasn't made by Disney.
Yep,
It was
Yep.
made by Pixar.
that's right.
Pixar was
Um,
not a Disney company until later.
And
And-
and
And when
they
and when Pixar was purchased by Disney, they basically fired John Lasseter.
who is responsible for those properties?
Yeah. And so those were made before Disney.
Mike Scott also says they also tried to kill Power Rangers when they bought it and accidentally created one of the best seasons when they gave up on it.
The rights of Power Rangers have gone back and forth so many times between Saban owning them and not owning them. And when he owned it, it was good. And then when he didn't have control over the property, it wasn't. And like I said, that property's gone back and forth so many times. When Hasbro finally acquired the whole thing, they
Right.
shit the bed with everything that they've done
Uh,
since then.
Jamie, welcome. Way to bring back men. Disney Princess Softcore. Yeah. It's it's okay. Like it's okay that all their stuff in movies, whether it's Tangled or whether it's Cinderella, whether it's Snow White, whether it's whatever Frozen, like that's their brand, and that's okay. They succeed and excel in that brand. But when they try to buy up IP that are male dominated brands and then fundamentally change them to make them female brands, it's not gonna work. Now, Clint, I gotta tell you. Not everybody knew about that. Not everybody knew about Lightyear. And in Snoop Dogg's world, I could totally see where he has no clue about that.
Why would he pay attention to any of that stuff? He just his kid or grandkid wants to go see a movie, so let's go see a movie. That's what he wants
Right.
to see. Let's go see that. And then he gets hit with that bullshit. And then he's like, what the fuck is this?
You know,
Man, that dude spends his day smoking dope. You think he remembers shit?
and actually organically in the conversation, it just kind of comes up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, you know, it just kind of came up during the conversation. But yeah, I
Yeah.
could see in his orbit where, you know, who knows, you know, so it's a new Toy Story movie, right? Yeah, it's Toy Story, you know, let's go
Yeah.
see it, you know.
Buzz Lightyear. Oh, I love Toy Story stuff. Let's go see that. But it has nothing
Yeah.
to do with Toy Story.
Yeah.
And if they had half a brain, they would have done Buzz Lightyear Star Command like they did that. They did a whole animated show on Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
Yeah,
And
right.
they could have done that whole side
Whole
of
deal.
things and made it the tongue in cheek parody that it should have been, and had some fun with it, and people would have loved it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's just I mean, look, they had an agenda they wanted to push. I'm sorry. It's just the fucking truth.
Yeah.
They did it with a bunch of their movies, a lot of their animated shit. That's what they've done. It has been their MO. It's a not so secret gay agenda. It's been said by executives and people within the company. It's on record. It's on video. I mean, it was what they wanted to do, and target young kids to asking questions to their parents that they shouldn't.
Well,
need
and
to
then
know.
defying parental authority, like Turning Red. Yeah, that I
Right,
mean,
right,
they
right.
made so many properties.
Right. You know, it's okay for kids to ask questions, but like
Yes.
especially if we have children, if you have children, there's just certain ages, man. They don't need to know certain things.
Nope.
It's just not. It just doesn't, right? It's hard enough in this world with the internet, right?
Right.
And yes, Viper Scott, I agree. Tim Allen greater than Chris Evans, Buzz Lightyear. I think 100% of everyone would agree
Yep.
with you.
Every second.
All right. So look, Matthew, let's go through some of your picks and then let's get out of here. What do you say?
All right, man.
Does that sound good to you?
Well, I appreciate it.
I wanted to bring these up. Some of these special preview folks. You may very well have not put these out yet, but I definitely wanted to bring them up and show them off because hey, why not? So let's get to it, and then we're gonna get out of here. Boom. Let's go, baby. Gotta love it. Love this. Love it. I'm glad you put decals. I'm scared to death to do it.
So these are
a true man.
These are our low tax stickers, so you can take them off, you can put them
Yeah.
on, you can move them
Yeah.
around. You know, Joe Fan 84. I am so sorry. I was one of the first backers of this one, and I thought I was one of the last ones to get it, but I'm still hearing from people that still haven't got it.
Yeah.
Punk
Yeah.
still doesn't have his.
Right.
Oh no, that's his Rumbler. Never mind. That's a Mesco
Oh
one.
yeah.
But you
Well,
haven't
he
gotten
got the Rattler, but it's from someone else.
well, that's true. I don't know if he actually got his
Yeah.
Rattler
Yeah.
or not, but
Yeah. Love this pick. Gotta love
It's
this
awesome.
pick. With a scrap iron in this stinger, and
Yeah.
Cobra Commander, the Hiss tank. I love it. This is a great pick from underneath, looking up, with the lights on. Freaking awesome. There's a little wider shot, wider range, looking out. Love the pose too.
I mean, I took so many pictures of this thing this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
thought this was so much
cool. Fun. This is super cool right here. Gotta love it.
Wild so Weasel. Yeah, I went back to issue 34 and got a lot of inspiration. I did a whole bunch of stuff from issue 34. But yeah, so yeah, it's got the Jolly Roger on it, but it's an actual F-14 thing. It's not Roy Falker's Valkyrie.
Okay. Let's see.
There. So this is more the comic accurate version.
Yes.
But I love this, and most people love this. So this one will be published on Friday.
Awesome. Again from a behind canopy.
So okay, this is something.
Shot.
This is something you can't actually do with this Rattler because the chair inside doesn't move. on the gun turret.
Ah, yep, that's right.
So I had to actually fit the Baroness in backwards. So I had to cross her legs and move shit around and everything like that to cram her in there backwards. So she's actually facing the tail end of the Rattler to do that.
Right. um, and okay, good notification. At least you got some kind of
Yeah,
information.
track
on
it with the
that, right?
FedEx app. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mendoza.
for sure. And
Oh,
Joe says
so
that's oh, this is great right
so
here.
this is the end of it. I took some plastic, um, like a binder slip cover for some papers and cut it up to make the back half of the canopy that's all shattered and shredded. I took some tape and put it on the windshield to have a cracked windshield. And then I took some smoke and fire effects and put them over the electronics and the
Right.
side of the canopy there to very much mimic the scene at the end where he's got half his face shot off or his helmet shot off. The
Yeah.
canopy's all busted up and he's flying back to base with
That's
his
awesome.
Rattler on fire.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I love this one right here.
Yeah.
When you sent me this one, I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, that's the one. That one, and I do love the commander and scrap iron and kind
Oh
of
yeah.
that side view under the
Yeah.
yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, man, I guess obviously I know you're gonna be posting these bad boys for sure. And what a couple of these you haven't, right?
No, I haven't posted any of the ones that you showed tonight yet.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. Okay, cool. So a little sneak preview for everybody. Yeah. We have to show them off. It's come on. Like this, yeah. All right, that's about all I got, man. Obviously next Tuesday, if you get a chance to catch up with Alien Earth, let me know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I know you'll get a
I'm
chance for episode 4 for sure,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm curious. The show, this episode was interesting. It is better than most of the last few because there's no action. It's actually kind of like, hey, let's talk about and let's see what these machinations and these different people now are starting to
Yeah.
feel. Some of it's weird, some of it's kind of like, I don't know, but there's some interesting stuff there. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I can't wait till next week. And
So Joe Fan, just real quick, if a label was created, normally on average, it's within a week that label will actually get shipped. But the best thing to do is make sure you're logged into your FedEx app and you can put that tracking number in the FedEx app to make sure that you can see if when it gets picked up and when it starts moving. Because
yeah,
because
it's pretty good.
When it starts moving is when you can make hold changes like hold at location or you know select the doesn't need a signature or whatever.
Yep. But
Well,
when it gets
I mean, you technically you do have a number. If a label was created, there's a number already associated with it, so you can put that into the app. You can find it on there somewhere.
yeah, I mean the main thing is as long as you got a notification, it's on the way. It's gonna be on the
Yep.
way, right? So it end of August, and they did say that. They did say throughout August, right?
Yep.
So I mean, we're still in August. I know it's the end, but it's we're still in August. So, still going on. But yeah, hopefully you'll get it soon. Yeah, a lot of people still don't have it, but God, it's it's gonna get there eventually, right? Just sucks
Yeah.
having to wait, man. But once you get it, I promise you're gonna love it. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. It's fantastic.
And I mean, I wish that they had the USB plug-in or the timer like they did
Yes.
on the Hiss tank,
Right.
because the fact that you can't cycle through and turn the lights off, but there's 3 cycles on the Rattler for the light effects, and they stay on for what 2 minutes or whatever before they turn off. That's a little frustrating, but
Yeah. But otherwise, it's awesome. It's freaking awesome. So, all right, man. Well, shoot. I guess next week, try to dig up some more stories. Maybe we can dive deep into this Travis Kelsey, Taylor Swift. I know you're interested. I know you're hot on the heels of that story, probably tracking every day. And I know I am. That's for sure. Maybe we'll get some Sydney Sweeney news. Who knows? But we'll be back again next Sunday. Again, I'll remind you, if you didn't get a chance, check out Legend Series Talking Figures. That was a lot of fun. I just did
Yeah,
that
check it
one.
out, guys. That was a good show. It really
Yeah, it
was.
was fun, and Matthew's got one coming up, so hopefully that'll be coming out here in another Friday or two to check out. That'll be pretty fun too. So it's a great time, and it's really enjoyable. I will be back on Sunday night. I don't have a stream with my cousin this weekend. He's Backyard Battlefield this week, but be back on Sunday night and maybe do an impromptu again. Who knows? We'll see in between. But yeah, man. This guy, love it, love it. 3 to 5 days. I don't know. That's a little quick.
We needed a bouncing meme. We need a Sydney Sweeney on a trampoline meme somewhere. Come on, where's that? We need to have that.
I tell you what, I just create one.
It's
It's the world we live in now.
It is.
But anyway,
It is.
yeah. All right. Look, you guys have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all again next time. Bob Blender, Matthew Madsen. This is the Evening Blend, number 65. See